I heard an analyst on Kieran's program, my brother, yesterday, and he said promises, political promises, it's a real problem if you promise a bridge and you don't build it. But if you break a promise where more people are going to benefit, which it looks from the outside looking in, more people are going to get tax cuts, is that as big a problem?
Look, it's not as big a problem. It's clever. And I was with Kieran Gilbert earlier in the week, and I suggested that don't underestimate the Prime Minister. He's cunning, and that's proven to be the case. However, Tim, you can't so blatantly break a promise and not think people are going to think less of you, and it will feed into a perception. Remember, he's broken a promise on the superannuation. Again, for people who've got $3 million or more, broken the promises of saving $247 per household. And then there's the policy issues.
He's not Robinson Crusoe.
He's not Robinson Crusoe.
Politicians.
I agree. But the secret of success is to elevate yourself above the rank of ordinary politician. Nobody's succeeded to date except for John Howard.
What about Peter Dutton saying, let's do an election right now?
Hyperbole, but he should. He's got to ramp it up. This is a gift to an opposition leader. And
if you play it right.
If you play it right, and he will oppose the Albanese watering down of the Stage 3 tax cuts through the Parliament, I would expect.
Yeah, it's a fair bit of water to go under the bridge.
There is, but the polls will soon tell us whether or not. How much damage? Yeah. I will concede this won't bring down Albanese, but it could be a substantial undermining of him and a characterisation of him in the public's eye that he can't shake in the next year or two.
Yeah, it does play to everything that you said at the back end of last year. You said this first 6 months is all about cost of living. It's all about that middle Australia that is under pressure, is struggling and struggling to pay the most simple things that we would consider.
But he shouldn't be in this deeper hole. Every Prime Minister, every government is underwater on the issue of cost of living, Tim, around the world, but not as deep as this government. He was asleep at the wheel.
The referendum probably didn't help, did it?
Correct.
OK, Scott Morrison says goodbye.
Yeah, look, history is very current historical assessments of him, especially by commentators and academics, let alone his political opponents, are being very unkind. I think history will be kinder to him. He was politically outplayed by the premiers during the pandemic, no question about that. But there were many things he did to save lives that others around the world could not achieve. There's the Quad, made up of Japan, America, India and Australia to counter China. He got that up and running. AUKUS has transformed our relationship with the United Kingdom and the US.
He did go to Hawaii and gave himself a few jobs.
Yeah,
that'll stain his.
That will stain it, and the 5 ministries. Oh yes, that's why he's a relatively unpopular or regarded as relatively unsuccessful Prime Minister at the moment. But I think as time passes and there's more objective and rational assessment of him, I think you'll find he was a good Prime Minister.
Neo-Nazis in balaclavas spruiking all sorts of bile doesn't do anything to help those that want to change the date of Australia Day, does it?
Agreed, but they're a sideshow, Tim. There's only a handful of them. They're pathetic, they're despicable, and the police are tracking them well. Australia Day went relatively well, I would have thought, yesterday, because most Australians got about the celebration if they wanted to, or have a relaxing day or a sporting day. There were large crowds in all the cities, and the Invasion Day advocates linked it to the Palestinian cause. It'll be interesting to see whether that continues in years to come. So there was, if you like, just a regurgitation of existing positions. Yeah. The majority of Australians love their country, value everything it gives them, and will celebrate Australia Day quietly and unobtrusively. OK, finally, let's head overseas, because Donald Trump all but has that seat now to go against Joe Biden. The thing is, Joe Biden's probably rubbing his hands together because we've said it before, but it comes in to clear view, doesn't it, when he wins Iowa, New Hampshire, and he's a favourite in South Carolina, where Nikki Haley's from, that, Biden wouldn't want to be against Haley. Correct, but there's beginning to be a bit of a a concern that Haley may not be the person up against Biden. So, look, I don't think there's any good options for Nikki Haley. The more she continues on, the more distraction she is to the Republican campaign, costing money to Trump, who's not especially flush this time around, I hasten to add, from donors. She's burying herself politically. If she wanted to run in 4 years' time, this is not the way to do. Getting creamed every time she gets a one-to-one vote against Trump and is angering the base of the Republican Party. Yeah. I think she should quit. But if she quits, Tim, I don't know that she can ever come back again anyway. 4 years' time's a long period. Trump, Biden, head to head, it will be.
Yeah. Not that everyone wants it. Peter, good to see you.
Especially not the Americans.
Absolutely. I look forward to our chat next week.
Thank
it's what we leave out, not what we put in.
Correct.
These days there's so many topics.